We're going to go way back and just get the major and minor levels. This one needs to be done in this way because it's just too wild right now. So 194. All right, there's the doji off the 50% retracement right there. Telling you guys, these 50% retracements, pay attention to them. Pay attention to this 50% level on your retracements, because price goes right to it. Right to it once it gets the momentum. After a long downtrend, you get this major retracement over and over and over again. Good morning, trader. Good morning, Creedmoor. Irina. So this is definitely a nice ascending pattern. You can see it's got kind of a flat top based on the 50% retracement level. What a perfect area for a flat top breakout. And there might be, there's good potential for just an overall up channel. I was trying to find a megaphone pattern, but it looks to me like it's more of a up channel. You can see the 9 EMA on the hourly, very important for momentum traders. This is kind of like 9 EMA is kind of like the last line of defense for me on my swing trading, intraday, day trading. Below the 9 EMA is kind of where stocks start to really roll over on a longer time frame, is what I've noticed. You can see we're right at this support right now. I'm just going to extend this off to the right. This could be one of the best runners today, or it could be a huge flop. I think this trend line is super important. You guys know the 200 SMA is super important. We start to break this line, we're likely to hit a few ladder rungs on the way down. But we'll definitely keep it on the list today for sure. I am just kind of building my watch list. I've got some different options, some Roku calls we'll look at today. Roku was a beast yesterday, beast today in the pre-market. And let me show you guys. I actually think Goldman Sachs. Oh, does he? Okay. Goldman Sachs has bad news. So I actually don't know how bad that news really is, and if the stock will react to it. Goldman is above the 9 EMA on the hourly as well, and has kind of put together a pretty big reversal, and it's just freshly over this fib line. However, if you were going to buy puts and you thought Goldman was going to go down, or you had a signal, I should say, really not what you thought, but you got a good entry set up, a good signal flash to you, my goal on this would be to ride puts down to the 172.50 area. That's this line, particularly right here. So that's that. But I mean, it's really bullish, and I wanted to show you guys really everything is bullish right now. And you guys see this really big thick line up here? This is drawn off the hourly or 4-hour chart. Doesn't really matter in this case, but this is the major resistance that price is being drawn to right now. It could take a while, right? It could come into contact with it way out here. We don't know when price will get this line. We just know the current pattern is kind of like a neutral wedge, right? It's kind of a bullish wedge, but it is a bearish reversal pattern. It could potentially reverse anywhere, especially now that we have crossed into the 50% retracement level. So do you guys see it right here? This was drawn from the last high to the last low. So this is a minor retracement. All right, so we've already done a 50% minor retracement here. And it's possible, just looking at momentum, we could start to roll over in this area. So anything's possible. There's a lot of political uncertainty and earnings are coming up. So let's just see what happens. Right now we're in this wedge and we're bullish. We could go to 2600 today. If we break this line, we're going to be drawn to this 62.5 level. That's 26. So this is kind of my upside target if we blow out of this pattern right here. And overall, just the momentum's just picking up steam. It's just picking up steam. That 50 SMA is up there. That might be the ultimate target. I think that would be a great target. You would start to get a 920 crossover, which sometimes in these bearish situations, you get a 920 crossover. When price is under a downtrend, you'll see it almost cross or crossover, and then it'll actually pinch and go back down, right? So like you can see back here, we were in a downtrend. 9 kind of just looped over the 20, looped right back down. Pretty much the same situation right here. It's just about, looks like it crossed right here. Boom, right back down. Going to do the same thing again into the 50 SMA. I think there's going to be a lot of nervousness as price attracts or gets closer to this 50 SMA level, and we start to get closer to that crossover. So that's something to think about. You know, save your ammo for a possible really good put play. But in the meantime, take these short, long calls on the SPY, long calls on stocks until we see if they truly break through. All right. Here's the 50 SMA on SPY. It might take a little bit longer for it to get up there. Futures is definitely going to get there first, but SPY's not too far behind. And so that's my analysis on that. I'm maintaining bullish now until something points to otherwise. This is kind of funny to see this one come up. Anyone that's been trading for a while knows that tops is a steaming pile of garbage. But every so often, when oil gets a little bit bullish, and if you look at CL, really, oil's moving right along with the market. I'll just show you guys real quick. I'm using fib fans here, but there's that 50 SMA. That's clearly where we're kind of headed, close to that 50 SMA. So you see stocks like Tops. It's got a ton of volume. It's one of the volume leaders and gap leaders today. But it definitely pumps and dumps. So some people like to trade these particular type of pump and dumps. We got the megaphone pattern. I would not take any entries on Tops until we hit this trend line through here, which, you know, that's a huge pullback to $1 before bouncing. Look for some type of ascending, but then it runs the risk of turning into a falling wedge. Something like that is very common with these pump and dumps. Let's see. So bigger stocks. There's lots of stuff we could look at. We looked at Roku. We looked at Apple. I don't know what you guys are looking at. Apple looks like it's going up to 150.50 potentially. That's a 50% retracement. This is a major retracement up here. I've got minor levels up as well. So that's the minor level. So that would be my upside goal on Apple. That's a good $2 move with calls potentially. Let's take a look at the VIX. To show you what volatility is doing. This is a major this is a major thing right here. We got a massive descending triangle with a megaphone inside. The megaphone is starting to break down and the falling wedge is starting to take over. So you see this massive falling wedge, 4-hour chart. Price is right down here at the bottom of this megaphone. You could see last time we got a nice falling wedge breakout. Then it fell into another wedge, another falling wedge breakout. There's actually a megaphone right here inside this megaphone. And then you have there's also an ascending pattern right there. And then you have this falling wedge. So 200 SMA is way down here. This is probably where price is being drawn to. It's already come all this way. It's breaking this pattern. It could get snatched up and saved. We just had a 920 bearish crossover. Typically when we have these in an uptrend, that's where you actually will see price go up. So a little bit unconventional rather. You can see, just go back and back test this, guys. You see these falling wedge areas where price comes down to these patterns, these support levels. You get a 920 crossover, and then look, it pops up. So we just had that happen again. We're very close to resistance. We're basically at resistance with these 50% retracements like on futures. So we might see some volatility. Who knows? We'll have to take it as we go. I also like to chart VIX futures. There's a lot more room for VIX futures to drop, but it is at that 50 SMA, which it's been saved once before. The second time it dropped just below the 200, shot up. So this is kind of ultimately where I think volatility could be headed before any bigger bounce. So VIX futures are very definitely interesting to chart. I've been experimenting with which chart I like the best for measuring volatility, and I'm still deciding on that. I like VXX, I like TVIX, VIX futures, so we'll see who ends up winning, but I figured I would show you guys that. AMD, gotta look at AMD. So AMD is massive daily support off of the 200 SMA up through here, and basically looks like it's heading to this. I think it's already there today. It's almost there. There's another 50% retracement right there. So these are all over the place, these 50s. This is likely to hit 2185. That might be a good area to go short potentially today. It's our third day of gains with AMD, so would watch for reversals today. Very close to the momentum line, very tight kind of falling wedge. But even any of these falling wedges that break out, I mean, this stock could end up closing at the high of day. Once AMD picks up steam, guys, you see how it moves. It just moves parabolically. And we're starting to get above the 50 SMA, which is going to get a lot of people excited who like to trade AMD. So sorry for the extremely messy chart, but I've got a lot of trend lines on this one. All right, let's get rid of these ones. That was a major break that created that huge downtrend. There was a pretty big break there. And there. It's a little bit better. All right, let's go. Just looking through the chat. Let's take a look at Facebook. This is my retracement target for Facebook, guys. So I'm looking for Facebook to hit this 50% retracement towards April. Let me get this out of the way. So by April, I would like to see this hit this 50% retracement. It's going to have to obviously deal with 50 SMA, 200 SMA still, all these horizontal levels of resistance. It's got earnings coming up, which is definitely a wild card. So this wedge, if this wedge doesn't carry it, then I would look for some type of maybe double bottom close to earnings, and then maybe take that ride to the 50% retracement. But this is one I've been waiting for a home run reversal on for quite a while, and so this is one of my favorite swing trades that I would look to get a really good entry on. I'm gonna really chart the heck out of this one, follow it closely. Might wait till after earnings to take a position, but there is this huge falling wedge. I wanted to draw this for you guys with another wedge to kind of take it out. So we might get in a momentum situation where before you know it, we're up around, 165, 167 bucks, pull back, and end up doing this ride all the way up to here. So, yeah, right. Put enough lines, it's going to hit one of them. It's a very good point. Yeah. So, but I think a really good entry would be anywhere off of this bottom trend line prior to earnings if it was going to melt up. Earnings has me nervous on Facebook. That's the one thing that's throwing me off. Let's see, AKS. I was looking at AKS yesterday. This is definitely a bullish mover, but it looks like it might pull back to this trend line. Let's see, what we covered: SPY, VIX, AMD. Let's see what AWSM is doing. Looking a little bit weak going into the bell, this trend line. Let's see, scanners. Oh, this one's a low float. This one does not have news. Yeah, it doesn't have the volume we like. Maybe a falling wedge breakout, but it just doesn't have the volume. All right. I think I'm going to stick with AWSM. This one's got news, got the right volumes, got the right stuff to potentially run or be a really good short. It looks like this is hard to borrow on Thinkorswim, but you want to look for at least 50,000 shares of 1 minute volume. That's going to be kind of the trigger, letting you know if does this stock have the liquidity you need to trade it, because it's such a low float. It's not an extreme low float. It's got a 17 million or so float. However, those 50,000 1 minute candles are going to show you, hey, this got liquidity. I can get in and out. The average number of prints per day is very high, so it's almost at 20,000. So that's 20,000 individual trades that are traded on this particular stock. That's really good. That puts you in a situation where not only are lots of shares trading hands, but also lots of blocks. Lots of opportunities to do so. And if you do the math with that number of prints divided by the float, the average number of shares traded is 850. That's pretty good. Obviously, there's much bigger, but just showing you're likely to get in and out of this one. All right, I'm just checking Benzinga, checking TrendSpider. You guys can't see. Oop, I got to turn my volume down. That's going to get obnoxious. That alert was a black box alert. We got actually an alert on TRXC hitting $3. This was on the gap scan yesterday. Looks like a lot of these pot stocks are starting. Yeah, look at this one. Yep, TRXC is looking kind of nice here. So with this, you could figure go to 45 to $7. Now you got some expectations. 373 is a magnet. There it is up there. TRXC might be a nice one to trade today, guys, in the penny stock land. It's got a great falling wedge breakout. It's close enough. It's past the last fib before this 50% retracement. This is a really nice one. It's a little overextended on the hourly, but no wicks yet. This thing could stay overbought for a couple hours and then consolidate mid-level today, or maybe even close at highs before hitting this level. This looks like a really nice trade though. So, and it looks like Black Box already starting to pull out some decent alerts today. You got TRXE, Facebook, right? So here's the alert level. It dipped below that level and then ran. We got Facebook, Netflix, Twilio, Nvidia. Let's check Nvidia. And change this to candles. What a nice uptrend though. All right, guys, so we're a couple minutes in. I'm gonna have my chart on AWSM, show you guys what we're looking for. Hourly is looking it's getting a little close to that 90 MA, so we need the 90 MA on the hourly to act like a springboard as well as this support channel. If it does not, then we got a problem, right? And it looks like it's already starting to break. We're into the bell. Let's look for some nice alerts. Oops, there we go. There we go. All right, that's starting to break down. So no trade on that now. Watching my 6 chart setup, seeing if we can ride some momentum here. AMD pulling back. SPY hit high a day, first candle. I'm just scanning through, guys, looking for setups. I see we've got a pretty nice bullish open on a lot of stocks, but it's early, so it might take 5-10 minutes for a trend to cement with a lot of the bigger stuff. The smaller stuff is just going to be popping up left and right. Those are going to be quick scalps. So Apple and SPY looking strong, Facebook looking strong. Penny stock's not looking too great. Looks like Facebook just crossed one of my trend lines here. Yeah, so we're breaking out on volume. This is crossing a major trend line here. Right through here. This green dotted line, we're getting above that. Facebook could get a pretty huge rip today, guys. Let's take a look at Facebook calls. These are monthly expiration. These are the 150s. $145s. Let's see, these 140 puts. I'm gonna load these just in case, but I'm leaning bullish on Facebook. It's a pretty big breakout out of this level. I mean, look how long we've been stuck under this level for. Failed, 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 broke. It's a big deal. Don't underestimate these massive breakouts. So I'm just looking for a pullback handle at this point. Talk about a 5-minute flagpole. Yeah, I see the sell-off in AMD. Maybe a 5-minute hammer. What do we got for time? We got 20 seconds for it to make a hammer. Apple really nice open above the 9 EMA. TRXE, nothing there yet. Facebook, come on, just give me some type of flag through here. Too many chasers. Too many chasers. Just let it dip a little bit so that we can technically get some kind of good entry. I hate moves like this right from the bell, but hey, it's it's above the area. It should do that. It is what it is. I'm still watching TRXE. And AWSM, guys. Ripping. Ripping, ripping, ripping. Big volume. 50% level. Calling it. It's right there. If this gets above this 890 level, watch for this thing to fly to 1053 today. It's a big trade. It's a very big trade right there. Very possible while this thing's flagging. Looking for a dip on Facebook. Gonna do some more research while I'm waiting for my dip. Lots of sweeps on Facebook, so I'm liking that. Excuse me. All right, let me look at these calls and see what I think about this pattern. See, I'm so far off this 9 EMA. It's going to be pure momentum. Just pure momentum, guys. That's what this setup is. This is really all I got to go off of. What's that put us at? 450? That'd be a nice trade. Come on, Facebook, dip a little bit more. Just give me a doji off the 9 EMA, and I'll take it. NVIDIA, I don't know. Chips definitely look bearish right now. AMD and NVIDIA look sucky. So do TRXE. AWSM is flagging. Somewhat. Well, it's starting to break below the 9 EMA. Let's see. I want like a 140. What do I want? I want 141.73. I need like a 50-cent drop or so on Facebook stock. All right, now we're starting to get it. Yeah, let's see. I might take a quick starter on the 145s. I'm going to queue up the order at least. Would like to see a bigger pullback. Even a 5-minute, but I don't know if we're going to get it. We're starting to get some wicks. Some wicks up here. Spinning tops. Still haven't touched this 9 EMA yet. I'm watching TRXC. AWSM pulled back to 50 SMA 1 minute. Need to see some volume come in on that one. Facebook, here's the touch right here. Facebook, I think, is just like doing its own thing. SPY looks a little weak, crossing below that 50 SMA. SPY's right back to VWAP. Let's see what you guys are seeing with Roku. Oof, that is nice. So that's right back to where the 50 SMA was yesterday. On the, I believe that was the daily, right? Yeah. What's it at now? Now it's at 40.71. This is why TrendSpider's so awesome. You don't have to edit any of this stuff. All right. Right to that 200 SMA. Facebook now potentially pulling back to VWAP. I like that. I'm watching TRXC for support. Let's see what else we got. Wow, there's still a bunch of sweeps being picked up on Facebook in the last 3 to 5 minutes. There's been some decent sweeps. I hate buying off this 9 EMA on the 5-minute because you just know it's going to touch it at some point. Looking for any other particular signs. Man, this hourly is so overbought. Let's see, this hourly candle really has to close above this resistance I might sit out on Facebook right now. The more I look at it, the more I question if this hourly candle's going to pull back below this breakout area. I think that's the real test. So I'm going to let this 5-minute chart play out. I'm not going to chase it. I do see a lot of calls still being snatched up. Nothing crazy money on these, but yeah, it should be working. Is anyone having trouble? Anyone having trouble with trade ideas, screen share? Just let me know. Good on my end. Okay. TI is lagging. Does look a little slow. Let me investigate. All right, let's see if that fixed it. Yeah, I just refreshed it. Make sure that you guys are using the join.me/apps, the actual viewer, and not a web browser to view the join.me, because it'll just look terrible on the browser version. All right, VIX getting a little bit of a move to VWAP. Interesting. Facebook's starting to get a green 5. Oh, this might break. This thing is just wild. I sincerely hope this rejects and we can get a better entry on this rather than chasing this bull flag. This overbought bull flag. Let's see. Just saw an alert come through on VTVT. No follow through on TRXC or AWSM this morning. Those are the two I was hoping for some kind of a nice move, but VTVT just getting an explosive amount of volume. And let's see, anything for news? Nothing for news on it. Job theme. Mean green theme. Got it, brother. Getting it. $200 a day. It's a great goal. Small trades, less stress. Right? Way less stress, especially starting out. Those are awesome goals. All right, so VTVT, this is an interesting breakout zone. Looking at this one closely. 260 was a pretty key area right at this fib line. I want to see some consolidation up here for a move to 321 today. This one might have wings. This would be a great area. Great area for some consolidation, some kind of bull pennant or flag on VTVT. Looks like right now they're just chasing it though on this alert. Big spike in the VIX. Very big spike. And you're seeing SPY now below its 50% retracement level. Let's check this daily candle out. What I'm looking for is this red line to cross over this purple too. That's going to be a nice indicator for short. This 50% retracement level is so important. 256.76 below that. After the run up we've had, we definitely have a lot of downside risk. I'm just going to clean up some of these lines. And I doubt they're going to do this, but I'm going to mark out pre-market lows for the last couple days. We'll see if buyers come in here. What's this, 254? 25. That's a great area to target for a short. All right, let's load some SPY calls too, or puts rather. Let's go to Alright, so we loaded those 250s and 255s. 10 days left on them, lots of volume. Bouncing off oversold. Lots of support through here. So good support level. This would be a great breakout level over 175. Target would be maybe this 200 SMA. That's around 345. So this would be a nice trade today. See if SPY rolls over. Right now chips look awful. Facebook popped and is kind of consolidating, which I like. VIX is looking pretty strong. I do see AWSM made a move back to VWAP and is now pulling back. That was definitely a VWAP style reversal trade off of oversold. Got my eye on the SPY right now. Now, VIX might have decided it's time to break out of this falling wedge. See how it starts? Starts with a little spike like that. The key is going to be breaking this line through here. Until then, it's just noise. It's just a dip buy on SPY. It's going to have to break out and really do some damage. That's the VIX cash. Let's look at VIX futures. This one's looking a little bit better. That would be the target on that. Yeah, we might not actually test that lower line, huh? It's possible. Hang on, let's get rid of this for a sec. Alright, so we'll watch this kind of carefully. I think there's a potential for a good trade today on this. I'd still happily take a Facebook long, but the way SPY is looking right now, ENQQQ possibly pull back to 157. Yeah. SPY getting a little support. Let's take a look at TVIX too. Super oversold. It's all about the 9 EMA on this hourly. If we can start printing above it during regular market hours, we weren't able to do it yesterday. We tried twice. Today could be the day. We could actually see the next 4 minutes here are going to be very critical. And mark my words, if we get an hourly candle printing above this 9 EMA, which currently sits at 68 cents, 57.68, you will see more volume flow in. VIX futures clearly looks like it wants to do it. It clearly looks like we might get a bigger pullback. AWSM guys looking fresh. Yeah, I don't think Facebook calls are terrible. And now it's finally at the 9 EMA on Facebook. So if it's gonna do it, it's gonna do it now. If SPY and QQQ are going to potentially bounce. Remember what I said about this hourly candle? I really wanted this hourly candle to close above this diagonal breakout trend line. Otherwise, it's kind of a false breakout. And I tell you what I don't like. I don't like when I take a trade and it ends up being a false breakout, right? Sometimes you don't know till after. Because you missed it, right? You could have discovered it, and really with your analysis you want to look at candlestick close price is so much more important than wicks. They each tell you different things and they're important for different reasons, but a wick right here on this hourly candle below my major trend line, this thing is rejected, what did I count, 5 times on the video? This is what's preventing me from entering calls. I got them queued up. I was all ready to go. Was hoping for a 5-minute pullback to the 9 EMA. Typically, that's the best area that I like to buy, right? And you can see that we're kind of drifting a little bit below through there, All right, we've kind of got this little down channel going. This 9 EMA is kind of the last line. And volatility spiking. Like TVIX right now is right up to its 200 SMA in the 5-minute. It's crossing a fib. Volatility looks a little bit bullish right now. Chips look terrible. And let's see what's going on for news if I'm missing something. They're saying trade talks are going well. Maybe that's kind of being priced in a little bit. I don't know. Everyone's expecting a good outcome from this, it seems like. So maybe we're getting closer to an announcement, and then you'll see a market sell off. That wouldn't surprise me, right? Buy the rumor, sell the news. So not seeing it on Facebook yet, unfortunately. I think that's a great setup, though. We could get above that line. And I mean, SPY is really hanging on to this kind of megaphone pattern. It's in the right area for a reversal right through here. This would be a great spot for a reversal. So that could be really good. We could catch that. Let's look on the did I load any SPY calls or just puts? I think I just have puts loaded. That's a problem. Well, let's put some calls on. Let's see these 260s. Let's add these to the old watch list. Let's check the pattern on them. Always got to confirm the pattern on your calls. Ooh, 19 cents the other day. Look at that. Only up 2,000%. No big deal. All right, so this is a pullback, that 9 EMA. Possibly 214. Like the pinch. Like the spinning top. I want to see it close above the 9 EMA in the 5-minute. And I got a fresh 5-minute candle here. Yeah, actually Facebook looking kind of, I might want to go more that route. I think there's more meat on the bone on the Facebook calls. I think we could get 377 on these today. I'm watching the 9 EMA super close on the SPY 5-minute for some kind of a sign of reversal. That's where we'd like to get it. Typically, we'd like to see this right angle break a little bit too for a little extra confirmation. There is this support way out here, so it's possible we'd go all the way back there. I hope not, but it's possible. RAF, I think we have a bunch of stuff with that. Lucian's done some videos with Thinkorswim in our Thinkorswim course. Wow, Sears. Thanks for sharing that, Allie. Let's take a look at Sears. Is this a penny stock yet? It's not even loading. Did they delist it? That's hilarious. It's sad too, though. I don't mean to laugh. Spy. Oh, put a Q. Okay. It's a penny stock. Yay. I will say this. I'm a big fan of Craftsman tools, so I hope those don't go away. I like that if you break one of your Craftsman tools, and I have before, you just bring it back and they say, oh, we'll replace that. Here you go. I know Snap-on's very good stuff too. Not knocking them at all. Oh, cool. Yeah, it's actually my fault too. I broke my my socket tool. It was really not heavy duty enough for the job that I was forcing it to do. So I popped it, but they replaced it. So did they sell off their Craftsman line to Lowe's, or they just Lowe's agreed to stock it for them? I know they were talking about selling off the Craftsman name because it was like one of the few things left that was valuable for them. All right, QQQ, watching QQQ, Facebook, SPY. Come on, Facebook. Let's see a reversal. I want to see a bounce off that 139.31 level so we can load the boat. I want to see TVIX and VIX break down as well. I want this just to be a... We're at an inflection point, guys, where with the volatility indicators are showing me possible bull pennants, but potentially could be breaking down, leading to good reversals for long trades. So we're right at the point where we can potentially pull the trigger on something. See what happens with QQQ here, right up against the 9 EMA. Qs are lagging SPY right now. SPY at VWAP, right at that 50% retracement. If it rejects this, I would not be a good sign. Reject VWAP and this retracement level. Again, if you guys haven't watched the videos yet, in our next level training, make sure you watch my day trading section. I have a bunch of videos on trend lines and drawing Fibonacci retracements. I did Gann lines. I did some option trading videos for day trading options for you guys. I made 2 videos yesterday. I'm probably going to make 2 more today. We're doing a whole bunch of new coursework and stuff. We're going to be adding to the members only videos for you guys. Yeah, I'm very tired today. Very tired. My mother's been in the hospital, but she got out. She's feeling much better. And there's I lost a lot of sleep over the last week because it was pretty scary a couple times. But she's good. But there's been a lot of extra stuff to do. Thanks, guys. She had a double surgery. So... And she's 61 years old, so good luck to your mom on the hip replacement. Those are a big deal too. My grandma had, let's see, one hip replaced and 2 knees. And she lived well into her 90s. Thanks, Longhorn. Thanks, Signet. Yep, I'm going to show you how to use the WordPress site. I'm going to get you... Actually, I'd really like to get you a login today. So I'm going to get you an author login. So we've got 4 people. You'll be the 5th person with an author login helping us out with content. Do a video on bull bear traps. Ah, that's a really good one. That is a really good one. Where is my pen? I am writing that down. Maybe bull bear traps. That could also be kind of like a false breakout, false breakdown type video. That's kind of another way to say it. Right? Thanks, Don May. I appreciate it. All right, so SPY 5 minute. Let's see, is this a new candle? Nope, this candle's ending right here. Let's see if this rejects. TVIX is at that same point, bouncing off the 9 EMA for support on the 5 minute. If you hold TVIX side by side, guys, you'll see how well they trade inversely, right? So TVIX is still potentially making a bull pennant, but it really didn't like that 200 SMA in the 5 minute. Right, so I'll show you what I'm looking at briefly, but I might be taking a trade here, so I'm not going to show you too long, right? So TVIX bouncing off the 9 EMA, possibly giving it enough steam to break this 200 SMA and then target this level today, which is 61.44. That's a nice little move. SPY, don't like how this is rejecting right here. It's sitting right on this trend line. It's starting to make me think about pulling the trigger on the, let's see, what are we at? How low can we go today? That's a good area, 254. I think I would take the 255 puts probably. 338, $50 move on those. That's 250 bucks. This would be a nice $250 trade if we bought 5 of these. All right, let's see. There's also this falling wedge. Make sure I get this just right. Got support there. That would be a big breakout. That would be a nice trade. All right, yep, this is looking bearish. I'm gonna grab a couple of these here. I'm just gonna start with 2. And the reason I'm starting to take this trade is the 5 minutes starting to crack this. It's got the 50 SMA that might try to save it. We're kind of stuck in this little bit of limbo here. But the pattern on TVIX is bullish and the pattern on SPY is bearish. So I'm leaning with the amount of signals that I have. I've got an ascending pattern on TVIX with volume coming in off this 9 EMA. Makes me feel like we're going to break this and kind of go on a pretty big wave up. And we've got this other potential resistance magnet for it, which is way up here. I'm going to make this one orange today. This is where I think TVIX could be moving, not necessarily today, but maybe tomorrow. So just another magnet to pull it. And then you're seeing kind of the spike here, right here, kind of confirming my trade. So I'm liking what I'm seeing on that. So TVIX spiking here. Again, this is where I worry if it's a false breakout, because it's got 1 minute left. And if it closes back down below that 200 SMA, that's kind of a false breakout. It sucks, which would really suck. But this has a lot further to go to pull up in the next 50 seconds. So I sincerely doubt it's going to pull back as far as it is. I rather expect this to, after 1, 2, kind of a third day of gains, kind of pull back at least a minor retracement. I'm really tempted to just add a couple more of those 255s. Those are already up pretty good. But let's see, this actually could be a much bigger trade. I hate to average up on this, but I think I'm going to buy a couple more. See if I can get a good fill. Okay, I'm going to cancel that order just because it's getting a little bit too close. It's getting at this 200 SMA, so I actually just canceled off screen. I'm going to wait for, see what this does. This might actually potentially bounce. This could also be looking at these daily candles too. We might just be kind of like gap filling down to yesterday's close area. Let's see, we closed right about yeah, so I got to watch this 200 SMA. Let's see if this bounces a little bit here, if it breaks through. But this is the area I'm looking for, most likely to exit the trade. And then maybe I'll switch to the long side. Citron Research backing up the sleigh. Huh. I only paid for two options, Allie. I only picked up 2, and they were about 280. I'm up 15% on them so far. So that's just $85, $90 or so, give or take. This 200 SMA is important to me. If this bounces here, 200 SMA can be annoying. It can be your best friend, and it can be annoying, right? So with seeing this pattern, at least I have a trade where I know that if this starts to break down, that this is my first target. But I also wish it wasn't in the way, because I want to get this target. So that's kind of the process with this type of trade, is you have to kind of look at each one of these as potential reversal points. I wanted to add the other 3 contracts to the trade, but I decided against it because it was kind of a little bit too late. I don't like adding a little bit late. Sometimes I'll do a starter position and then add in a really good situation, but the 200 SMA kind of kept me on the fence, because then essentially not only am I not in any profit at all on my first trade, which is frustrating, because I'm averaging up, but I actually could have been down if I got those contracts filled somewhere in this area and it bounced. So that's the thing with these pesky 200 SMAs. They're a blessing and a curse. When you start trending above them, it's very clear what's happening. But when you're not really trending above them, like even this breakout here, right? We did a ascending breakout, and now we're kicked way off. This could come back again, hopefully bounce off the 200 SMA and then really run. Or it could be kind of a, gotcha, basically a volatility bull trap where it got above the 200 SMA and pulled right back down. If I see this drop heavily, fast, big red candles below this 200 SMA in the 5-minute, I'm out. That is not a good sign for me. So, yeah, AWSM, that is moving nice, guys. That is moving really nice right here above the 200 SMA. So watch for this move. This could hit 1050 today. And I'm starting to feel more and more bullish on this one, because you're seeing what's happening. You've got, if you give this thing a haircut like that, this is the channel. This bounces hard off this channel. You better believe this thing's going to 1050. So for all of you guys that are focused on these smaller price stocks for momentum, 5-minute 9 EMA bouncing off the 50% at 881 right now. I'd like to see a touch of this 9 EMA, maybe a little bit somewhere in this level, and then a rocket launch up to 1050. You'll see a lot of people pile in on that one, get kind of crowded. All right, so we're up 20% on those option contracts on SPY. We got a good entry. We used the trend line breaking as our entry. I got a really good entry because I got in a little bit early in anticipation. Once I saw this 5-minute candle, I was monitoring my time up here, okay? And I knew this 5-minute candle was close to ending. That's when you got this next candle, rejected below VWAP, broke our trend line, was clearly going to break the 50 SMA, convergence of moving averages, all pinching and crossing over. And now you're getting one of these situations. So this is where I'm going to sell real quick and just take my 2 trades. I took my 2 off right here, because these are the kind of silly traps that the market will put in, and I just don't have the patience for it, right? Sometimes it's good to be patient and just wait for this to come all the way up, reject the 9 EMA, get your ultimate goal. But I've been caught too many times. Guys, David's dropping some knowledge for you guys. David, nobody works harder and studies harder on small cap trading, doing research, seeing if the news is valid enough to move it. You guys pay close attention to David's charts. He knows what he's talking about. AWSM. Oops. So here's that retest off that 9 EMA. Sort of anticipated a little bit more sideways trading here, but this crossover right here, not too good. This could actually pull down a little bit lower, maybe to the 50 SMA again, before it rips. So if you're long from here, you'd definitely be selling up in there, and you'll see this start to roll over. David shared a nice chart of it, right? You start getting candles printing below the 9 EMA on the 1 minute. That's your sign to get out. right through here. This starts to roll over. Big candle printing below the 9 EMA. 1 minute. You're definitely using the 1 minute for your entries and exits on these stocks under $10 because you have to. They move 20 to 30 cents in a single candle. That could make or break you. Okay, so back to my SPY trade. So did pretty good on that one, made about 20%. So just 2 contracts, that was $100. It's not a lot of money. If I had bought 3 of them, been closer to 250, which would have been a really nice goal. Now this is where I might consider looking for some kind of a little bit of a larger bounce. Again, why I dropped out of this trade, took profit, was this whole pivot area around the 200 SMA. A little bit oversold, let it kind of come up, bounce a little bit. There could be a much bigger down move, but we'll buy a ticket for that if we get the opportunity. All right, so Facebook. Let's look at Facebook. This would be such a fun one to trade. Oh, look at that setup. I kind of like this. Problem is, I need volatility to agree with me. Do I want to take a position on this? I don't like where the VIX is at right now. I also don't like this hourly candle. Let's check the 15-minute. Let's see, this ends. It'd be nice to get a hammer right here. This might keep me in the trade a little bit longer. See if I can find a channel. I got a channel. Morgan Stanley maintains equal weight on Goldman Sachs. 207. Did Goldman move today? I know Irina was talking about that one. It is moving down. This looks like it might be finding a short-term bottom right here. But there's your play to 172.50, Irina. If you got in at the open, that would have been really nice. But it looks like it might bounce a little bit here now. My big play, really what I want to hit is Facebook today. This is looking like it's going to hammer in the next couple minutes and engulf this. Excuse me. Yeah, I'm pretty tempted to take this trade. Yeah. Let's see how these calls look. Is that going to close above the 9 EMA? That would be beautiful. Whoops. Hang on a sec. There we go. Let's see, 168, 170, nice spread. Where's my 90 EMA? 90 EMA is at 168. Looks like it's going to close above it. I think we're going to get a nice little upswing on this. Looks like volatility is going to break and drop right back below that 200 SMA, trap a bunch of people. I'll take a small position in this. At least play for VWAP. That's at 213. Again, I need volatility to break down. Yeah, 200 SMA is 5-minute support on TVIX. Hopefully I just didn't get trapped. I'll have to be very tight and close with it. Looking at SPY, I see it getting above the 200 SMA. I like that. Would like to see it start to clear this lower level. Oversold. Would love it to print above the 9 EMA. Would be a really nice signal. So now the thing I'm really hating on is I'm hating on TVIX, and I want TVIX to crash. I want this 200 SMA and this 5-minute cross over the top of the 9, price to print below, break this newly formed megaphone, tiny little megaphone pattern. Looks like there's some buying coming off of it, but here's that 5-minute candle. So this 5-minute candle really matters. If it starts to get bought, I'm gonna not be too thrilled with that. Facebook's getting closer to VWAP. So here's another aspect of trading. So for all you new guys that are listening, you know, trading is placing a trade as close to your entry and exit as possible, as close to your signal, whatever it is, whatever your signal is, whether it's a trend line, a moving average. You guys are going to hear me go over patterns and trend lines, and those are kind of my signals. Moving averages help keep me in the trades a little bit longer or get out quicker, but those are the types of things that I'm looking for. And then if you place your trade close enough to it, if you're a little right or a little wrong, you're going to know rather quickly, and you can kind of adjust your trading plan from there. So not liking this bounce on TVIX here, but it's not over yet. It's a very new 5-minute candle. Very new. A little bit of an upswing on the 1. Really need this candlestick resistance in here to kind of break this down. You know, need some, basically this angular resistance across the board to pull this back down. If it doesn't, exit the Facebook trade kind of quick. I'm already down 35 bucks on it, which I don't like. So we'll keep that to a minimum. So we'll watch for this rejection or breakthrough. If it breaks through, then we're going to see a good move on SPY. I'll probably switch back over to those SPY puts. Yeah, I think I'm going to exit Facebook. All right, so I closed Facebook really quick. I didn't want to give back any profit to those and get too out of control with that. I'm not trusting this move. I'm also seeing this potentially break through. And there's a bigger move up to this 61.44. All right, over to SPY. Yeah, this looks like it's coming down a little bit more. So jumped the gun, got in again a little bit too early on Facebook. Paid for it. Gave a little bit of profit back today. No big deal. Let's look at these 255s again. And these things are right at resistance too. Five minutes a little bit overbought on the put side. Yeah, it's kind of a tricky spot. I might have to wait a little bit longer before placing any of these trades on the indexes. Problem is volatility looks so strong right now still. Off that 9 EMA, 5 minute, across the board. Not ready to break down yet. Could be ready to rip. I'm watching these puts. There is some volume starting to come through. That's a big move up to 553. Definitely possible. Let's see, how are these 250s for volume today? 9,000 on the volume today. That's up to 324. That's a nice move. It's a nice move. Starting to trend above the 50 SMA too. All right, I think the next 5 minute candle or two. Yeah, the volume is very high on the put side. So, which coincides with what I'm seeing. I think there's some risk with the politically what's going. This 200 SMA looks like it's going to give up the ghost today. And if it does, you can often see I'd like to show this. I got to start screenshotting these and then pulling them up for you guys where these 200 SMAs break down pretty hard. I mean, you can see, I guess, for example, right here where it broke down, it pulled back to the, I think this was the previous day's pre-market low, right? No, it might have been a different pre-market low there. It actually got below the pre-market low. Let's see. Ah, here we go. Yeah, it pulled back through here. I did kind of have a trend line through there. All right. So it got right up in there. So I think we're going to see the same thing today on SPY. And where are those SPY puts? I think I might take these 250s. Let's see, SPY 252 is kind of my, that looks like a good magnet. Oh, hang on, make sure I get filled. All right. So 321 looks like my target. That looks like what I'm shooting for. I might get a little bit above that with this hourly trend line. Actually, let me clear my chart real quick on this one. Look at that hourly move. That's nice. That is pretty nice. Looking for a waterfall now on SPY. Let's see if we get it. All right, 18, 14. Let's see what the low was. 122. All right, so major retracement on these contracts. There's that 200 SMA right around 334. Looks pretty good to me. I'll probably be in this for a little while today. I think I'll let this run a little bit based on what I'm seeing. Might be a grinder, but looking for it to test these levels through here and potentially move lower. Let's see, what is the yeah, this would be the 251. That's the pre-market low area. You can't see it down here, but it's just below 251. Call it 251.25, right about that zone. Those are the ones I'm looking at. Loan, okay, cool. So 200 SMA will often play games with you. You'll get a bunch of spinning tops and different signals in through here. Problem is TVIX just looks super bullish. It's in its nice channel, pulled back to that 9 EMA, popped up, still riding that trend line. SPY looks like it might be forming a not a very aggressive one, but just get rid of these lines. Let me remove all the studies for a moment too, so you guys can see the patterns. I did a whole, last time I streamed, I did a pattern stream for you guys where I took the moving averages off quite a bit, just to show you the what we're looking at. Now you can see real clearly through here. This is pretty strong support, so if it breaks, this is your next level down through here. It already broke yesterday's high. Should break yesterday's or today's low through here, and then this would be the ultimate move. And what we hope for is we can find some kind of bear flag, or falling megaphone, falling wedge, something. Right now we don't have it, but the way that it's looking like if this right angle holds, forces price in this apex below this support level, we'll find the next pivot point, which I would assume would be this area, that it would hit this area, causing a falling wedge scenario, which you'd look for it to reverse somewhere in this level. So showing some hypotheticalness of it. With the bottom line, we don't know where that pivot point is yet, but we will find it. All right, let's take a look at, I see TRXC is trying to like fight to stay up. This one might be a really good dip buy. Right through here. Because pot stocks, they kind of do whatever. They don't really care about the market so much, but hey, there's another megaphone. Any of you guys watch my megaphone video yesterday? I just put that out on YouTube. Oh, that's right, robotics. I always confuse this one with a pot stock. Thank you, you're right. I don't know what ticker I'm confusing it with, but I do that all the time. So this one did have news. I guess. Common stock sees sales 24 million. Oh, there's a Parker alert. TMDI. Oh yeah, look at that volume. Wow. Let's see, that looks about right. This candle I'm not even counting because it's just absurd. But there you go. Let's put, that thing's parabolic. We need to put our studies back on to trade something like that for sure. Let's see where the daily, aha, 200 SMA. That pesky 200 SMA is in the way, so the bulls got to respect that at least a little bit. You can see price going right up to it. Come on, SPY. Too far from the 9, absolutely. You guys have learned, a lot of you guys have learned that 9 EMA, you start buying away from it, you're just chasing. Right? Here's where all smart buyers were. Seeing this initial pop in volume, trying to get filled close to the 9 EMA. Then if it pulls all the way back, it's still above their entry, bounces, forms some kind of ascending pattern, and then people are happy. All right, because they got a good they weren't chasing, they got a good entry. That's just on the 5 minute. So always use the 5. You can use the 3 minute. It's up to you. I prefer the 5 minute and the 1 minute for entries. You see all these good 1 minute entries, right? Through here. Then this pullback, and you know, you'll get a bunch of sellers selling at $half level at the 200 SMA, 350. That's 2 things of resistance fighting against you. Right? There's 2 levels of resistance to overcome. The psychological $half and the 200 SMA at 357. Right? So you don't want to screw with that. So hello darkness, my old friend, TVIX. The dark side is moving up. And this megaphone's holding true, liking my SPY puts. Glad I dumped those Facebook calls rather quickly. It looks like it's going to retest that breakout area still. But this is my target. It's mechanical. It's trustworthy. It's my custom Fibonacci levels. Show on the left. There we go. 100%. Yeah, chip stocks were like the red flag today. Those started dumping first. QQQ's following. Tech is definitely leading the way in bearishness so far. It's starting to get to a support though, which is interesting. SPY's at a support, Q's at a support. So, might have to take profit again. That's the name of the game. Yeah, I think I might take profit here. It's tempting. I gotta watch it super closely. I think this is more critical. Right through here, we're on this oversold level. Not oversold enough to make me sell yet. I'd love to see this crack. Get a big jump in these contract value. Right now I've only got about 6%, between 5 and 6% profit on them, so got to be careful. Like to lock in those gains. Really need TVIX to make a big push. So over here, I'm watching all these other charts. They got TVIX, VIX futures, Facebook Qs. You see the Qs at support. This is another chart a SPY have for minor retracements, so I'm watching that for possible magnet. And I got AWSM, which looks like it's done for now, maybe till later today. So this is the level I'm watching right here. I really want to see this flush through here. Yep, I just want to make sure because you guys know how quick a candle can turn on you when you start seeing your lower indicators indicating oversold. My lower VWAP showing me it's oversold. RSI. But this is a major support area too. So like I was saying, this is likely to be where SPY pulls back to. I'm sorry, futures. I had this level marked out. This was important resistance before. Resistance becomes support. It's all this stuff is, guys. Support and resistance. Hourly, I like this hourly candle rolling over. It looks like it's going to print in a bearish fashion. Could get a very bearish hourly rollover move into oversold land. Just a matter of time. Look, all this RSI support we broke all through here. And we'll probably spend some time oversold at some point on the hourly. So this might be one we really hang on to this today for a nice profit. Yeah, and just need that to break. Yeah, $60 level is pretty key right now on TVIX. That's a big psychological. I still think that magnet is 61.44. That's a big level on TVIX. Let me show you why. All right, let's do the 4-hour chart. That's an old retracement level, but there was a lot of resistance there. So I've got a couple different Fibonacci retracements on here, minor and major. But there's a lot of bullish, a lot of lower indicators. Pointing towards a bit of a breakout. There's a big magnet up here on TVIX around 65. That's a pretty dang big magnet. And this thing can run. It's only up 2%. This thing can be up 10 to 15% in a day. Easy. Easy, easy. And here you go. You're seeing it coming up to that $60 level. Working on the next magnet. That's a good one right there. Signet just shared the stock volume. Very, very good one for you guys to take a look at. It's all about the volume. And I know SIG's working pretty hard, has a bunch of really good volume studies set up. All right, so we're up 12% on those SPY put options. Just waiting for it to push a little bit further. Checking out the news, checking Benzinga. It's nice to get a good entry on a trade like this. You can just let it work. No stress. You basically sit back and let the trade work, right? TVIX moving up. You know what that means? That means SPY is moving down. And I really hope this breaks right here, because then we'll hit the money button. Qs are breaking support too. Ah, this is beautiful. This is pretty nice. Yep. This is it's kind of a wow moment. Still not much of a pivot. There's a little bit of a falling wedge baseline being formed at oversold. This is where market makers would love to trap a bunch of people, a bunch of traders, take their money right off the bottom of this line. It's kind of like that hidden hand operating. It's right there. Let me check my... Here's the other thing that's important to note. We're also at this important, very relevant support. And if that breaks, according to TrendSpider, this is 5-minute intraday support. We're going to have problems. Let's see, which daily moving average is this one? Oh, that's a 20 EMA in the daily. That could be the magnet right there. What's that set at? That's at 253.52. We should probably mark that out for being smart. That 20 EMA could be a great area for the daily. What did I say? 253.32? Nope, 253.50. Let's mark that up. All right, so we got support there. Good stuff, little shark. All right, let's see some follow through right here. We're below those support levels. Let's see if they snap it back up. Or do they want to just hit this 20 EMA and get it over with on the daily? That would be fine with me too. Either way, I don't care. Just don't want to miss my exit up almost 16%. Hang on, just jumped over 16% on the SPY options. Let's see what else we see. Let's check a couple other things. All right, so we got below that, we got the middle band of the daily Bollinger Band. That's down around 252.41. So that's another $1 lower. Let's mark that out. Right about there. Middle Bollinger Band, and then the next support, 251. I've already got that marked out though. I'm just looking at TrendSpider, guys. If you guys haven't tried TrendSpider and you're new, you guys can try them free for 7 days. I just typed the link in the chat room. We've got a couple different TrendSpider blog posts. It's just awesome for finding support and resistance mathematically drawn. These are what all the computers are looking at. So my trend lines are good, guys, but they're not computer level good. The computer doesn't make mistakes like I do. I might miss a wick or a candle, get it a little bit off. Let's see. Might be giving some back here. Kind of oversold. Yeah, I think I might take my scalp and be done and just sell my 5. Because it's possible we bounce off of oversold. We're at that area where the market likes to play games through in there. And possibly pop out. So we'll get out of that trade, take the scalp, take the profit, and not look back. So we traded those puts twice. Feel like it was a good move. Reason I sold is because, one, TrendSpider, major support. We've been in a downtrend since we opened, and that's a long time. So an hour and a half for a downtrend is a pretty decent downtrend, and I would expect some kind of bounce maybe up to 256, possibly up to, yeah, possibly up to 256. I could see this wedge potentially breaking, moving back up to this 200 SMA again, maybe retest one of these moving averages, maybe VWAP. But I don't like how this is, the reason I left this trade is I don't like how this is oversold. It's starting to kind of bounce above here. You've just got these angular signals showing possible momentum sweeping in the other way. And why would I want to leave, give money back to the market? You want to trade very defensively, right? So trading is a defensive game. Your money, every one of your dollars is a soldier going out to capture another dollar. So once you've captured a bunch of dollars, it's kind of like, all right, guys, let's retreat. Let's go back to home base, regroup, try to find another trade that's got a really good entry, and ride that. Ride that next wave. But after an hour and a half of kind of downtrend, a little bit, it's not like we saw just a straight waterfall. This has been kind of choppy, a little bit indecision. I do think there's a really good chance of a daily downtrend, and I'd be looking to swing trade some SPY puts in the near future. But I need a couple different signals, like a hanging man. Like today, if today makes a hanging man, and like let's check out the daily chart on TrendSpider real quick. It's gonna look a little bit cleaner. All right, so wow, is that the weekly 9 EMA? Yeah, that's the weekly. So here we are, right? We're looking at a daily chart. We got the weekly 9 EMA there. And if we clear that, daily 9 EMA is below us, right? We broke through, got some momentum. It's possible we come back and retest that line, but the fact that the weekly's right there, it's a bit of a problem. You got the weekly 20 right there. You've got all these moving averages on the weekly time frame, looking at a daily chart, that are in the way. And if we switch to more lines, yeah, there's room to run. There's definitely room to get up to the 270 level. But all these moving averages are kind of roadblocks, and I think they make it a lot more difficult, right? And if we look at you got the 50 right there. So many moving averages in the way. We're not in a trending market. There's a good chance that we bounce off of one of these, because typically I don't see, especially when I go to the more line setting, I won't see this much green pasture to fly through. Yep. So you can completely chart yourself. It's a luxury thing, right? So this would be considered, if you can get by trading without it, then I completely support you in not paying for TrendSpider. If you're kind of a newer trader, or you're somebody that has the luxury, the extra money to spend on it, we never tell you guys to buy a tool just to buy a tool. But if you can A, afford it, B, get some use out of it, it makes it really quick, because I do make mistakes. Like today I'm tired. You guys can hear it in my voice. I'm a lot more exhausted than usual. But I might make a mistake with a trend line, whereas with TrendSpider, it's really doing all the work for me. It's, some days I feel a little bit lazier. I'm going crazy charting stuff. I can go through and go to SPY, I can go to TVIX, all my favorite stocks. It's going to do all the support and resistance for me. It's going to show me breakdowns and breakouts. You guys might be able to do it all yourself and have no use for it. But, for me, I think it's money pretty well spent. They're going to keep improving the product too. So there's going to be some really cool new features coming out. And anybody that pays, whatever you pay now, you're kind of grandfathered in for life, which is really nice. But, just looking at this, showing more lines. This was that major line I was looking at TVIX as a resistance point. I was very happy to see it. That helped with me placing some long trades in the last week or so, because you saw this daily breakdown through all these different trend lines, right, on the more line setting. Now we're breaking down this line. We've got a little bit of support right here. Maybe pop it back into this triangle. That's what's got me wondering if we have some bit of a pullback. But now it's starting to show me maybe this is going to form a head and shoulders. So this is where I start to look for some kind of bearish pattern. And you can see it right through here. We're probably likely going to build a little bit of support off this moving average. Maybe bounce off this line a little bit, but then break. Ultimately go there, which is quite a bit lower. What do we got for price level on that line? It's wow, that puts TVIX in the 33.50 level. And so if that happens, SPY is going to likely move up to this level, 270. So I'll be looking to take a significant long trade. And man, am I happy I exited those SPY puts, guys, because just like I thought, breakout, 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 breaking out of the falling wedge, right near the support levels. Irina, I'd be so thrilled. I actually asked them that too. I said, I know it's expensive for them to develop hooks into a broker, but I won't be switching to their other broker that places trades for them. I don't think so. Maybe I'll try it and put a little money in there, but let's see. Maybe Facebook calls later today, guys. SPY or Facebook calls. Starting to get a little bit of a bounce off this trend line. Let's see this hourly candle. Look at that nice hourly pullback. Ah, that would be really nice, huh? Really what you want to see is these lines cross over. Looks like they might. Looks like they might. Let's see the 15-minute. That's starting to look pretty good. That's starting to look pretty good. So I'm gonna monitor Facebook for a little while. What would I recommend for GS? GS is at support, so I would not buy puts on GS right now. This was my target for it, and it almost dojied right off the fib line today. So I would wait for at least a dead cat bounce. Problem is the overall market, Irina. You'd be trading against the market, which we don't recommend, with the market being semi-bullish. But if you were looking to reload on puts, you could maybe reload somewhere in here. If these moving averages converge and cross again, fails, you might get another test of this. You could trade some intraday puts. But below this 172.50 level, that's a pretty big support level. And if it breaks, you might be able to get more of a longer term put option play. You'd have to do some more research on if analysts are going to be bearish or if they're calling for a lot of, you know, if it's that big of a deal. But you see this Momo trend line right all through here going back to 162.60. You could draw it right from there and try to pick up as many candlesticks. It's really hard when I have my moving averages on the chart, but if I remove all the studies, it's clear as a bell, which a lot of time I focus on price action. It's really already broke this rising wedge, but sometimes after a rising wedge breaks, it finds a Fibonacci or moving average support level and just forms a larger rising wedge. And so ideally you'd like to see a retest of the broken rising wedge, and then it test this again, break, test this, break, and then your goal would be the next fib level down or a moving average in between. In between here. It's got earnings coming up too. Earnings is going to throw throw the market kind of into all types of different sentiments. Bank earnings start first, and then you got tech stocks and materials and all that stuff starts coming out. So I think the market's going to be bullish going into earnings, hoping that the economy's good, looking for signals of strength in the economy. Banks typically do well, but I feel like after every earnings, isn't it kind of like lackluster? This was one good one, but that earnings didn't go well. This really didn't do anything after in between these two earnings. Now moved way lower. Apple looking good. I really want to snag Facebook. Yeah, daily candle on Apple still green. Bit of a rising wedge channel. Yeah, this could take you up to 150 today. 150.50. That's going to be a major area where bulls are going to come in heavy if we get above 150.50. Then you know it's on. Then you got this big gap fill. Look at this gap fill. This might go all the way back to fill the gap. This might be a good swing trade candidate as well. Facebook and Apple are probably some of the best swing trade candidates right now. And you get a little bit of time in between earnings to capture some premium on calls as well. All right, what did I want to leave the chart on? Facebook? Yeah. So that's just price action. Still kind of trapped. Kind of trapped in this like mini descending triangle. It's what you call an option killing triangle right there. See if it breaks out. Breaks this, breaks the high of day, get a nice move. See if the volume comes in. You can always just add your on balance volume study. I do like that 15-minute candle. Next couple minutes, this is a good candle right here. I do like that. It's in the right spot. It's in the right spot. Volume is kind of starting to creep up a little bit. Let's see, RHE. RHE is looking pretty good. It's in a bit of a rising wedge. So you're late. You're definitely really late into this trade buying here. And I need my studies. I gotta load those back in real quick. Because with something like this, you need to know where the daily 200 SMA is. Which, there you go. We've gotten pretty close to it. So the 200's at 252, psychological $0.50. That's an area of concern right through here. If it breaks above it, it could go parabolic though, right? So mark out your 200 SMA in the daily and watch that important resistance zone. It's failed it most times. Only one time, couple times in recent history did it explode past it. Let's see the volume. We're actually doing 4 times the volume that it did last time that it exploded past it. So you could see a very big parabolic move. And I would probably go back to that day where it was doing 3 times less volume on the day and just do your retracement really quick. Try to make it accurate as possible with the 72. And there's that 50% retracement right at that 200 SMA at 262. Did I get that off? What was the low here? 72. Oh, the high was 528. I'm way off. That is not accurate. Let's get that accurate. Yep. So $3. So if it gets above 250, guys, and just rips with the volume, $3 is a great target for RHE. All right, let's go. Good job, Dean. You're welcome, Parker. Amazon's at that 200 SMA. That's a momentum moving average on a 5-minute chart. So I do kind of like that it's being bought. It's coming off of oversold. Problem is we don't know if we're in some type of corrective wave after a big move up. Actually, the hourly looks super bullish. Big pullback, 20 EMA, 20 EMA, 20 EMA on the hourly. I like the crossover right here on the Stoch RSI. I do like that. Those hourly crossovers after a pullback like that typically lead to decent moves up in the interim. So I'm seeing a lot of just bullish patterns across the board with room to run. This is current angular resistance on Amazon, and it might make kind of just like a mini descending triangle, get trapped, and then break this. And once it breaks out, it's going to be really nice. Hang on, I got to sneeze. Oh, man. So that's Amazon. I think Amazon wants to get back to the 1680s, and it could even do it today. Longer term, I do have a trend line that I'm watching for Amazon to pull back to, and that's this trend line. And we are not far away from it. It's down here low in like the 1280s, 1300s. It rises though, so I mean towards the end of next year it's in the 1400s. I'd prefer to see Amazon touch that level, and then I would probably buy some leaps calls if it did hit this area. That's a major area of support. So problem with Amazon daily is every time it's bounced and recovered, it's short-lived, right? It's still got to, it just barely gets above the 50, pulls back. Now we might barely get above the 200 or test the 200, pull back. So I still think we're in trouble. This market's still in trouble, but there's really good opportunity around the corner. All right, guys, 11:17 a.m. Typically, I'll stream till sometime after 11, not too late. We covered quite a bit. We looked at some small caps. We looked at options, pattern, support, resistance. We covered price action, Fibonacci. Really a little bit of everything today. Volatility. I'm still looking for to go long on Facebook calls today. I'll probably do that while I have lunch. If I like the setup, it's starting to cross VWAP. I like this 15-minute green candle close above. I really want to cross VWAP though. I don't feel comfortable going long below VWAP. So Yep, definitely taking a trader nap today. I need the rest for sure. I got a soccer game tonight. I play indoor soccer. And my son plays soccer, so got to rest up for that. Haven't played in a while, so that should be fun. You got it, Signet. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Irina. You like the background color for my chart? I do, too. It's a little bit better contrast for me. I might have to change the candlestick colors a little bit and maybe my trend lines. But I'll experiment and get a better contrast. I'm going to watch the video back later. So hopefully, I moved to a different monitor today. This one's a little bit bigger than the last one I did. So hopefully you guys like the size of this monitor and maybe you all stick with this one. I'm just going to much better. Okay. So I think I finally settled on this one. This is the Goldilocks monitor. It's not my biggest one. It's not my smallest one. It seems to be the right fit. So I'll probably stick with that. I will leave you guys with Facebook calls are a great play today. Potentially to this 142, 82 level. Maybe beyond. We're starting to come close to VWAP. See how it behaves in this zone. See how the volume picks up. But I think the markets are still a little bit bullish today. Maybe finish on the bullish side, and then maybe we see a beginning of a pullback. There's a lot of stocks that, yeah, they have room to run, but I'm just worried about the moving averages and momentum starting to slow down. And if you guys haven't tried TrendSpider, try it for 7 days. So it helps me a lot. It's a useful tool. I posted the link. And I spelled it wrong. TrendSpider. There we go. So they're doing they used to do a 5-day trial, but they moved it to 7 days. And I think that's a sufficient time to see if it works for you. But like I said, we make mistakes with trend lines, and TrendSpider does not make mistakes, which is really nice about it. So Anka likes it. Awesome. Good stuff, guys. So you guys have a great rest of your day. Thanks for watching on the stream. I will be back for you guys tomorrow. I'll be back for you guys Thursday. And Creed will probably be streaming Friday. I might stream again Friday. We'll have to see what's going on. But typically I'm streaming for you guys Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And then saving the playlists. Saving the playlist for you guys so you can watch them later. And yes, TrendSpider, eventually you'll be able to trade on TrendSpider with a certain broker, but right now it's just a charting platform. So it's like a stockcharts.com type subscription, but it's a lot better than stock charts, because I really feel trend lines are one of the biggest things that you have to master to be a good trader. I really do. All right, that sounds good. I will do that, Signet. You got to check the TrendSpider pricing. It's not bad. If you use the code BullBear30, you'll get 30% off, and then you get 15% for purchasing the yearly sub. So you end up with 45%. I actually got to change our blog posts. It reminds me to fix that, because they changed their pricing kind of recently, or their discounts. So it's not bad. If you pay for the year up front, it ends up being like, I don't know, $25 a month or something like that. So, all right, guys. That's it. I will talk to you guys later. Keep your eyes on Facebook and watch for the counter trend. And we'll check you later. Enjoy.